Okay, hello again, folks. Welcome to the Stepping Stone Tours blog. This piece is, as it was with Nigel earlier, a review of Trey's journey, or should I say Guns McNichol, his journey from a fairly difficult place and also quite atrophic in relation to her muscles, etc.
Yeah, it was
fair to say?
definitely.
Trey's going to now talk a little bit about how she thinks she's progressed, why it's important to have carried out what she's carried out, and what are the highlights of it. You know, what's improved for you.
Yeah.
I mentioned the deadlift when you managed to lift your own body weight.
Oh yeah, I still remember that.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your journey from that dark place to a much better place now.
Yes, I started off very weak, and I started off shrunken. I didn't have a lot of body fat, but I didn't have any muscle either. So everything was, I was just becoming smaller. I was concerned about that, and also I had quite a bit of joint pain and weakness, especially my shoulders, because I had rotatory problems, and that was a bit of a state really. So
you were true.
I was picking up a 1 kilogram weight was a major event for me, and I felt like it was a major event for me. It was very hard.
So what then inspired you to change that and become the person you are now? Because quite clearly, physically, to me, and mentally, you've improved massively. So tell me what inspired you to get on that pathway.
I think initially it was fear of getting worse, because I had so many health issues, which are still there, but because I'm stronger, I can deal with it better. Fear. And sometimes fear can work for you if you really don't want something to happen, then you're going to work towards it. And then when I seen the improvements, then it was the improvements, the achievements that drove me really. I didn't really have a goal. I just wanted to be feeling better and be stronger. And I slowly was getting there, and that was good. I could see myself getting stronger. And then, that got me into it. Oh, okay, I'm liking that. Yeah.
So if you were to signpost people, listen to this now, and signpost as in guide them down a similar pathway, what are the most crucial, fundamental parts of your toolbox, which you talked about? The kinds of tools you would need to actually get on that pathway, to become better physically and mentally. What kinds of guides would you give people that you used on your journey?
I think just the biggest one is pushing on, even when you think you can't do it. And except when you get those small improvements, focus on them, saying that's a good thing, I'm doing this, and believing in that. Let it give you the confidence to continue. Because it is hard at times, and I found it very hard. But they were the things that kept me going and pushing on even when I thought I couldn't. Also, having people around you, if possible, that can support you in that, so you're not doing it on your own.
Yeah, I mean, if I go back in time, because I mentioned Mark earlier on Nigel's piece, the peer support was always there.
Yes,
between the three. And we had talked the early days because, you weren't as physically strong and mentally strong as you are now, because you both improved massively. It was always there, that support.
Yes.
You each kind of cajoled each other on. And I would strongly recommend to people, if you're going to get on this pathway, if you're struggling yourself, and I would actually promote that, just do it. Get people around you that will support you and guide you if you can. Don't try to do it on your own, because it's not that straightforward on your own.
It's not. And also, if you have a training buddy that's in the same boat, that's facing the same things as you can encourage each other. That's good. That's a good thing, I think, for people. Because if you're on your own, you're kind of more likely to back out and think, oh, I can't do this.
Yeah. And I think as well, if you go to a gym, and I'm not going to decry gyms, because you've probably heard my thoughts on gyms, are mainly aesthetic now.
They
it's,
are.
What you look at. They don't necessarily work with the mind as much as they should really, but that I'm sure there's good gyms out there. But to go into a gym with no background and with depression or with anxiety, and you're surrounded by Love Island or The Only Way is Essex,
Yeah.
you know, the chances of staying there are not that good. Unless there's a good trainer there who can, you know, can guide you along and bring you in and maybe get someone as a gym buddy in there. But the chances of that are not that high because most people have been going there quite a while. You know, I mean, it's statistically most people join gyms after Christmas and then they're finished by February.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
and a lot of the problems there is it's not just because they can't be bothered, it's because of what they're seeing.
I think that's why it's good to have something in your own environment, and then you could have your friend come round, or if they have something, you go around to there and do it in a different environment, so you own it more. Whereas if you go to a gym, it could be intimidating. You know, people pausing and pick big weights and maybe trying to influence you, or even seeing that, think, oh, I'm never going to get to that. So you might be able to take something and do something that isn't good for you. Whereas if you're in your own environment, you're not going to be influenced by that. It's not there.
Yeah, because the slightest thing when you're in a bad place can dent your confidence.
Yeah.
It's already fragile. So I think, I mean, if I was to send a message out, because I know this from myself, you've got to build that self-worth and self-confidence in tandem with your training. That's crucial because it is fragile, you know, and it might always be slightly fragile, but you know, if you work properly, you'll get stronger, and the knocks won't put you down as often.
Yes.
And I think that what you mentioned before is right, Trey. If you surround yourself with people who will not just boost your ego, but you know, see you as a person, respect you, you know, self-worth, build your self-confidence, you're more likely to succeed at the end.
Well, yes.
Would you say that's...
Yeah, definitely. And also, if somebody's struggling on a day, the other person can encourage them, and the other way around, you get each other through that. And I think that's a good idea, really, because not everybody's strong enough to do it on their own. Even if you did a little bit of training in I know you are, but you're crazy. You are crazy. But I mean, you can go to a gym and give an idea what you need to do, and you could get your own equipment. Just a small amount. You don't need a load of stuff, but and have somebody with you do that, because you can share that experience. Even share the cost. You know, you could do it that way. Whereas some people can do it on their own. Some people don't need to go to a gym all the time. They can actually work out on their own and getting, you know, immersed in that. But you have to be strong-minded for that.
I think it is possible to develop that strength in mind.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much what we've done with yourself and Nigel and you know, latterly Mark, who actually did make a lot of progress.
Indeed.
I think just to even have one dumbbell in your bedroom, you know, buy a bull worker, you know, which I remember the first one I bought many years ago. It had like green kind of cores and things on, and just have a go in your room, you know. And then when you're with your mates and you're training, then you can maybe take some of that back on your own and just slowly build it up, you know.
Yeah.
I think everybody has the ability to actually work out in their own environment, you know, if they really put that effort in together, you know, with their peers.
Yeah.
Because as you're building that confidence and that strength, you know, you're more likely to go in your room, oh yeah, I think I'll just do a few curls on me little dumbbell or whatever, and you build that up.
And also, we tend to come back when you're doing your training together and talk about what you've done.
Yeah.
Oh, I managed to do such and such, or have you managed to, you know, so you kind of encourage each other.
Yeah, but not just for the aesthetic.
No, it's just about health and your own strength. And I think I've said before on video about women, I think it is more acceptable now, women being able to do this for the strength, because they start losing muscle a lot quicker than men do as they get older, and bone density. So, I mean, I remember when I was younger, people, it happened in my family, getting hip, you know, falling and breaking their hips at a reasonably young age, really, because they become so fragile. Whereas now, women can work towards avoiding that. So when they get into older age, if they're still doing this kind of thing, it's beneficial for them, to keep them healthier. Because nobody wants to be falling. I mean, I remember my gran having that done. She fell and broke her hip. It was horrendous for her. Awful. And she never recovered. So that kind of impacts on you. And I think that's why, when I realised I was facing that because of my health, and it could happen quicker for me. That frightened me because I saw that happen, and that really motivated me, I feel, to get into doing something to help myself.
So here's a difficult question for you now, Trev. You knew there was one coming at some
Oh
point,
God,
didn't
you always say.
Yeah, I'll let Nigel off the hook. Now, there is now, probably to some extent always has been, exercise attached to the aesthetic where you look good. You've got muscles, or you look like some kind of Adonis or whatever. And then you've got the reasons why people do exercise is to improve their mental health.
Yeah.
Now, we all know that the people that get narcissistic about what they look like, and they get totally hooked on what they look like, and then they don't look the way they should look, they get depressed or whatever.
Yeah, it adds to anxiety.
Having said that, is it not good to feel good about how you look?
It does, yeah.
But
I like that, yeah.
What must you do in tandem with that?
I think it'd be best not to focus on it. I think accept the fact you're going to change. I mean, that was a strange one for me, I must be honest. And when I started to notice that, I thought, oh, I'm looking different. What's that about? It kind of took me by surprise because I'd never looked this way. But at the same time, I had to think about, right, okay, this is part of the journey. I'm going to change in a certain way, and I will accept that, but not focus too much on it. And I'd seen a documentary recently about bodybuilders, female bodybuilders, and they were starving themselves to get into competition to show off all their muscles, and that really disturbed me. I thought, oh, that is not good. I mean, because it's not good to starve your body. It's kind of a kind of anorexia, and that's bad. That's good. Not good at all.
So, if we are talking about exercise making you feel good, and when you look good, you feel good.
Yeah.
It's the two work together. How fragile is your ego at that time?
I think it can be very fragile, and if you have anxiety and low self-esteem and low confidence, you could really become quite obsessed about how you look. So you see these improvements, and then you take it too far. You maybe end up on steroid. You maybe end up starving yourself. So it's all like on show, and you've gone away from what maybe originally you started off with. That is to be healthy and fit. It's not about how you look; it's how you feel.
Absolutely, and the fragility comes from if you can accept that you've done the work you've done, you're quite happy with that, you can maintain that, and you feel good about yourself, but it's not going to last forever. It's one of these things that comes and goes. We all get older, but you can still stay in good nick when you're older. But if you try to live with this mindset of when you were 23, with the body of a 23-year-old, and then you get to 63, the chance of you becoming extremely depressed or down or whatever are quite high.
Yeah.
So when you were 23, you shouldn't be working on trying to stay that way forever. You should accept who you are, accept you're doing okay, you feel good about yourself, but things will maybe change in the future, but I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Because if the only focus you've got is the aesthetic and how you look, that's going to be extremely difficult for you, because you're never going to totally keep that.
No, you won't. And I think maybe these people got into this for the right reasons. I mean, on this documentary, there was a lady that suffered from trauma from a severe accident, and she got into bodybuilding for the focus, and I thought, yeah, I get that. But she was obviously on steroids. She had these huge muscles, and I was just shocked. I mean, how do you go from that to that? I thought that I don't get that. And then I thought, actually, you went into it for the right reasons, for the benefit of it, but you've gone too far. You've not possibly been reflective of what your trauma's doing to you, because actually your trauma's driving that. And she possibly, and I don't feel she actually saw that. And it's difficult because maybe people don't see that. They don't see how their mind can be driving them into a direction that isn't good for them. The steroid is not good for you.
Yeah, because it becomes another problem, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, there was a survey done with the General Medical Council on the use of steroids with young people, and it's risen massively. Yeah. And the reasons behind that are obviously aesthetic because they want to look like these people and look well, etc. But it's causing lots of depression and mental health problems. So the question I want to ask you, because it's part of your journey, would you recommend to people that this journey is not just about how you look? Yes, it's how you feel, but it's to take you on a pathway which will make you more complete in yourself. So the mind and the body are in balance, and if one's out, then you know what to do. If the other one's out, you know what to do. It's giving you tools to actually function in life in a much more relaxed and calm way. Would you recommend to people that they go in to look good, or would you say, right, you're going to work with your body and your mind in tandem?
It has to be body and mind, because if you go with the looking good, you're going to give yourself all kinds of problems. And if you've got problems anyway, it's going to get worse. I mean, you will do extreme things with food, even if you don't try steroids, you'll still do that. And I came from a position where I had to reduce my food, not because of that, because of my condition, the bowel disease. And I knew the risks, but I didn't have a choice. This wasn't something I wanted to do, it's something I had no choice of. So if people are actually choosing to do that, there's something wrong with your mind and your mental health, because you wouldn't choose to do that. And then I can eat a bit better now, and it's great. I feel great that I can do that, to be able to eat more healthily. I may still have restrictions, but I'm not. It's not as bad for me. I feel so much better. I mean, I can't imagine doing that on purpose to myself. I just can't. I can't think why would anybody want to do that. Because for me, it's about being well. It's being comfortable in your own skin. It's feeling good about yourself emotionally and mentally and physically. That's what it's about.
I agree entirely, yeah. I mean, I like to think that thread's always gone through any training I've ever done with people. You know, it's not just about how you look. You know, this is about you as a person. Because, you know, everybody's an individual when they come into a gym, dojo or whatever, and you have to work with those people as individuals and not as just a group of people. And you've got to work with them in a way where, okay, this is yours, this is personal to you.
Yes, it is.
So, just to round up, because I think we're almost over our 10-minute slot, as usual, what would you say are the massive improvements for yourself, Trey, that have taken place over the past few years since you started working out?
Physical strength. I've strengthened my joints, the tendons and muscles around my joints, and that's given me a bit less pain, which is great. I can move a bit better. My core is stronger, which helps with the pain of the bowel disease, because you get a lot of pain with that. So having a stronger core helps with that. Endurance, I'm not as exhausted, and I was very exhausted. I do get very tired, and when I get like that, I have to back off. I've learned to manage that, so I don't go too far and knock myself back. It is an everything, every day, every week thing, you know. That's the way it is. But I've accepted that, and emotionally and mentally, the focus is much better. I really like that focus, and emotionally, mentally, I'm coping better. There's times I feel quite settled, and I can cope with things that come at me a bit better. You know, a lot better, really.
Yeah, I mean, that calmness, that I always call oneness with yourself. I've seen that grow in you over the past probably 12 months.
Yes, definitely.
You know, you have less anxietal phases that you go through. You know, you roll better with the punches, you know, when things come at you quite quickly. And, you know, recently you've had quite a lot coming at you.
Yeah.
You don't attach to the emotion as strongly. It annoys you
Yes,
and upsets you,
yeah.
but you're able to accept it and move on and you know, work with it. And I think if you can get that out of your exercise, that's a massive, you know, and it should come through those workouts, you know, because that's where you learn who you are.
Yes.
Especially when you push yourself beyond, you know, the norm. You know, most people think, oh yeah, I'll do that, but I won't do that. It's too hard that. You know, you always push beyond the norm.
Yes,
and I think you'll learn more about yourself by doing that. I don't think everybody has to push themselves repeatedly to do that. But when you come up from a difficult background and you go through difficult periods, that's when you've got to really kind of push on and stretch yourself, because that's where you learn how you cope.
Yes, and also if you've been knocked back a lot, or say for instance you go through a very difficult time, It gives you the confidence and reminds you of your strengths because you forget about those.
Absolutely. I mean, Nigel mentioned that in his interview. You got the job, by the way, Nigel. He touched on that, and I've seen that in Nigel as well, because he rolls better with the punches now. Because I know the recent situation with the trip, you know, now he got him anxious, etc. But he rolled with it much better.
Yes.
And he was able to see it for what he was, and then move on. You know, now if we go back 12 months, and that had come on him, that'd be a totally different animal, wouldn't it?
Yes, I think being physically stronger and being able to achieve in some ways through your exercise shows you your strengths, because you have to use the mental strength to be able to do that as well. So not just physical, it's mental, and it develops that strength, and it's good for you, because when you have life things going on, life stresses and something really bad, you can stand against it a bit better. It doesn't break you like it possibly could before.
Absolutely, and I've seen that in yourself. So your parting shot to the viewers is in relation to your journey and how it could help them. You touched on some things.
How
would you sum up? What would you tell people now that are going to be listening to this eventually? You know, and they're struggling to just to even get motivated. You know, what would you tell them to do?
Just try. Just give it a go. And start small. You get there eventually. But that's okay. There's no rush. You don't have to be like other people. You don't have to aspire to have a certain look or be a certain way. It's about yourself. Absolutely.
And I think on that note, that's a good ending to it. Thank you, folks. Check it out on the blog. Any comments, please let us know. Any bad ones, we'll ignore them. And we're gonna review this again in a month's time. We're not looking for any great outcomes. You know, if you're still comfortable in a month's time, that's good.
Yeah.
You know, because Nigel and Trey both got to really good levels and they put the work in. And that's something that I'm definitely proud of their achievement, because they've dug in. I remember the dark days, the difficult days for you both. You know, when you didn't think you could ever get beyond that particular, you know, line, but you did. You know, and he's still proving that now.
Yes, it's still difficult, and they don't ever think it's ever not going to be difficult. But it's the strength to push on.
Absolutely. Okay, folks, that's a wrap. Thank you.